Well, hey, thanks for stopping by to visit. We're just preparing to take another trip out in the box truck. We did a trip last month in June. It's now July, and so we've been working on getting things ready, more build stuff done. The first one was our shakedown run, and that's just a diesel heater I'm putting over here into the van right now. The diesel heater we picked up at a yard moving sale in a little town east of here a couple weeks ago, and we're kind of clean the truck out and get ready. We got a lot of stuff in there. It's a bit like a construction zone right now because things are getting worked on. We're still living out of our travel trailer, so we don't need to we don't need to clean stuff up in the truck every night. We can kind of leave things out while we're working on projects. And right now I'm doing work on the van too, and we're this is getting used. We have a lot of storage in here still, and so we're moving a few things that are more somewhat long-term storage into the van until we're ready to actually use them, so we can get them out of the way of the truck so we can take that out camping in the coming days. Now we're in the, I think it's 22nd of July or something like that. 23rd, yeah, 23rd of July. So we're getting towards the end of July. It's kind of the hot season here in Wyoming. Lots of 90-degree weather, 90-plus degree weather. But right now, it's we got a couple of cooler days. Yesterday and today, lots of clouds. Probably some big storms maybe coming later. So we're working on taking advantage of the cooler weather to get a little work done. We've had a lot of rain this spring and early summer, which kind of messed up our build project, partly because the ground turns into soup after days and days of rain in a wet spring. So not very fun to be out there working on it, but right now the van is just like our daily driver. It's our utility vehicle. We use it to transport supplies and goods that we need for working on the truck and stuff, so we don't have to move the truck so often and put everything away to be able to drive it. But we're getting a little break in the weather. So today I'm out here working, moving some stuff out of the truck that we don't really need right away. So the diesel heater we're going to be using eventually, but we don't need it right now because it's been quite warm. It's the end of July. So I can go into the van here for temporary storage till we figure out exactly how we're going to install it and where we're going to install it, because I'm still not sure if we're going to try and put it outside or if we're going to put it inside like we did with the van. So we'll figure all that out in time, but we got a little window before we have to worry about heat too much. But come along, I'll show you around. I've been working on this. It's not like earth-shatteringly different, but we have made some changes since we were working on the box truck, when we had the box truck out last month. So we've definitely made some changes, so we'll kind of show you that, some of the more recent additions and what we're working on before we kind of are able to really kind of get into it full time. So the outside pretty much looks the same. I think if you've seen our video on our roof rack system, or videos, I guess, there was a couple of them there. So that's all working well. So you can see the gap on this side. That's where we left a gap in our roof deck for a skylight inside. Our wall fan here is working great. This really helps move some air through. Our main Blue Eddy, the big power station here, again, this is working fantastic. You see bungee cords. I confused people on this rack at first because I didn't have cords on it. They thought it was going to fall off, but we're using bungees, and you know, these are a little tighter, so these are just not really secured great because you know, we're parked right now. This is actually strapped onto the wall, and there'll be another strap on that too to make sure everything's solid there. Fuse block up there. Great thing about these power stations, this is a 30 amp 12 volt output, so this comes up and powers a fuse block that I can run a bunch of other things off of from there. Of course, we have solar coming in, 400 watts of rigid panels on the roof, and we also have an AC power cord, so when we have shore power available, we can plug in and recharge the power station off that. All right, coming in the main here, this is our kitchen area, whatever you want to call it. This will be may get redone at some point in the future. We found this old desk at a yard sale for $3 just down the street, so that's why we have that. It'll work for now. And I just built this extension with some scraps I had laying around, so this may get redone at some point if we find a single piece, furniture piece we like better that'll fit in there, or I may just build something. But we wanted to kind of get on with it. And you know, over here we got the workspace. Refrigerator, of course, got to have that, right? It's nearly empty right now, but that's our set power. 12-volt compressor fridge works great. Desk space here, or workstation, however you want to call it. The power off that Bluetti does, I have these USB and 12-volt outlets here, as well as AC outlets. That all comes off the Bluetti over there, but we now, of course, have this Opez Exodus 1200 power station, and if I can find somewhere better to put that down lower, I will, but it's just a little bit, relative to the size of my desk, it's a little big to sit in a corner, which I would do otherwise if my desk were bigger, or if the power station were a little smaller footprint. It might still go down here somewhere, but for now it's up there, and it will be strapped in good before we drive, and that's just, for now, and then I'll run cables down the corner to get down here to run everything on a workstation. We do have a 240-watt solar panel for that as well, to keep that charged. So that's lots of things in this build are works in progress. And what I mean by that is we're getting things in, we're getting things usable, but then there's lots of little details that we're going to come back and finish later. So there's kind of two main approaches, I think, to doing a van build, RV build, whatever you're doing, right? Trailer build. And one is to go slow and get everything done perfectly the way you want it the first time before you start using it. The other is what we're doing. That's kind of like you get in, you start using it as soon as possible, and then you work on the other details. And that gives you a chance to make sure that what you're doing is what you want. So both approaches have advantages and potential disadvantages. This is just the way we're doing this. We want to, do a certain amount of building, take it out and use it, and then we'll go from there as far as if we want to make adjustments. So like, for example, on our first trip out, we realized we are having electrical problems. Our solar electrical system with our DIY system was not performing properly. We had some, problems with it, some failing components, namely the solar charge controller was failing, and our batteries were then failing as a result of it. So now it's just a wall, and we have a ladder here. But other than that, all the stuff has been moved to power stations. So will we change our mind about the power station system and doing only power stations? Who knows? Time will tell. But for now, that's what we're doing. We also have a Bluetti EB3A inside the trailer that will also go with us when we get into the truck, and we'll have actually 3 power stations and with different dedicated uses. But I've been doing some wiring in here too, so let me show you that. That's my most recent project that I've been working on. So coming off the fuse block here, this powers 2 new things. It already powered the fan, which right there, and it also was sending power to the desk, as I mentioned. It's also powering the refrigerator. So I added a couple new lines, and one of them is for lights. So I put these in. These came out of the van. I had 5 of them in there, but one of them would kind of falling apart. These are actual RV lights, 12-volt RV lights. So and I put another one here. So, you step inside and then it's dark, and, we're not teenagers anymore, so maybe we need some extra to be able to see in the dark. And yeah, there we go. We got lights now we can kick on. Of course, they angle down. With these particular lights, if you travel while they're aimed down, the bulbs like to come loose and fall out. They're LED lights. They take almost no power, but that does give us some lighting in the back. And I think the other 2 that I have are going to go, well, they're still on the counter here, but they're going to go up here over the kitchen area. So this is, I mentioned the skylight we left where we didn't put any roof decking, and that's why this gives us natural light filtering down on the kitchen area. And so I think we're going to throw a couple of these 2 remaining lights up here, but I ran out of wire, so I have to go back to the store and get some more wire. Then we'll install those, and we'll have better electric lighting here if we need it. The other thing I was working on yesterday was running some more 12-volt and USB power, and this is block right here. We've had those in the van. They were getting pretty worn out, the ones in the van. So I have one over here. Let's see, this one here came out of the van, but they were all getting pretty worn. This was the newest one out of the van. The others were definitely worn out, so and getting pretty loose. So I picked up a couple of new ones, got this one installed by the kitchen, and then we'll be putting another one, running another one up and over and installing it on the headboard. But I ran out of wire, so that'll come hopefully before we go out again, but we will see. We also have more shelves that we did not have last time we were out. So these are designed to store to accommodate the 11-inch fabric cubes. Those work fantastic for storing stuff. They're cheap, they're light, and they stay nicely on a shelf if you got a lip on it. So again, we got storage up front. I still need to finish this up put some insulation on it and cover it, but we just haven't got to it yet. And there'll be like some molding going in the corners to cover up where you can see the insulation still, but again, I can't really do that until I finish with the wall boards. You can kind of see it over here. The wall boards only go up that far because we're waiting on windows, which is the next big project after I get done puttering with some electrical stuff, I guess. Melanie, we'd done a four-poster canopy bed, and she decided she wanted an attic over it, so I now call it a hardtop canopy bed. Don't mind all this. This is duct work for our air conditioner, so we can route it to where we want it. We can use these up to three pieces of this. Just haven't done that yet because I'm not sure on some of the other build things. So right now the air just blows out the end there, and we had a whole video about this thing too, but it's an under cabinet or under bench design, which I love. It's really efficient for us. And there you go. So that sits under there, but these holes on the end we can put the ducts into and route it to different places if we want. So that may still happen. We just are not done with the build yet, so we're not worrying about that quite yet. You can also remove this plug here and plug the front and have the air exit on the side. So right now it just kind of dumps in the middle of the thing, and it does work, but we may, you know, move some lines around, use the ductwork in the future. All right, so that's kind of where things are at right now. I'm moving stuff from here that we don't need here right away over to the van to store until such time as we're ready to use it or decide we don't need it. So like, yeah, half of this stuff, you know, needs to go. Here's our portable solar panel for the OPEZ power station. This is a box with some packing material in it that we're saving for use with eBay stuff that we sell online. So that's going to go over to the van to get stored over there. We picked these baskets, these plastic drawer units up. They're like 20 or 25 bucks at Walmart. We picked them up for $1 a piece at a moving sale here in town, and they're in like brand new condition. So we probably will be using those somewhere in here. I'm just not sure exactly where yet, but that'll, again, that if we don't, we'll find a home for them, but I think we might be using them. So right now I'm working on just getting things ready, moving things out and over to the van that we don't need in here, tidying some things up here so we can go camping. Now, where are we going? That's a good question. I don't know yet, but it's been hot. It's been in the 90s, so probably we're going to the higher elevation, like up into the mountains where it'll be a bit cooler. You know, speaking of which, I got right here on the table, this is a blower motor resistor assembly out of the truck. I was had that out testing it. I don't think that's the problem, but for whatever reason, still to be determined, our blower does not work. The heat and air conditioning work, but the blower doesn't work. It's totally out. And, you know, if it's not too hot or not too cold, you can get plenty of heat or cool just from adjusting the vents to the temperature. But if it gets really hot, it'd be nice to have the blower working. So but we're testing that, so I got to get this put back in because I don't think this is the problem. It seems to bench test acceptably. I don't think the blower itself is bad either. It's not getting voltage to it, which when we bought the truck, they told us it was probably the HVAC control module, the mechanic that was up there from the company we bought the thing from. And that's the little gizmo right there on the dash where all the controls are. And so that may be the culprit. So we may have to replace that. But I just wanted to do a little testing on cheaper and easier things before I got into the bigger thing that's a little more expensive and a little harder to replace. So that'll be coming soon, hopefully before we do this trip, but we'll see. The big thing that has to get done next, other than, you know, puttering with some electrical stuff here, is windows. So I know I'm putting one in here this way by the desk, and I know we're putting one in over here above the kitchen. That's why the wall board, our tongue roof, is only up to where it is. And this is going to get something done to it to preserve it eventually too. Like, we have polyurethane to multiple coats on all along here and all along here to make sure that any moisture and splashes from cooking don't mess up our wall boards. So we'll probably, that'll all get done as we're getting, you know, further along the truck. But I wasn't worried about doing it for the most part, other than behind the kitchen. I wasn't worried about doing it until we had things finished up. And I don't want to finish this up till we put the windows in. So one here, one over by the desk. These are going to be bigger ones, and then probably one on each side near the beds so we can get some ventilation and light as we want it up around the beds. So that's the next project. The question is going to be what exactly windows we're using. That's the other part we got to figure out, and exactly what size and all that stuff. So where they go exactly is going to be dictated a bit by just how things fit in there. Where the framing already is, we want to fit within the framing we've got there to keep everything nice and strong. But all right, that's enough of catching you up and showing you around. For now, I'm going to get back to work and move some more stuff over to the van for storage, and hopefully do a little more wiring and get that blower resistor plugged back into the front and reconnected, and just kind of get some work done. Oh, I did get my out here, I did secure my wiring down for the solar, so that's all nice and tidy now. And you can kind of see our work process here. We got some sawhorses set up with some things we're using to make stuff, and there's some of our tongue and groove that's going inside. So all right, but anyway, we're gonna finish putting some stuff away in the van here, and then work on some more on the truck, and I'll check back in with you a little bit, see how things are looking. Okay, so I'll give you a quick peek at what we got going on in the van here. It's mostly empty, but we do have fore and aft storage areas that we're not using. This used to be the bunk where we slept in, but we downsized it a little bit. But just up here, we have some basically consumables. This is all stuff that's going to be used, but until we use it, it keeps it safely stored, dry, and out of the way, so we're not tripping over it. So we have some lightweight plywood here that we've been using for different projects, some bigger cardboard boxes, and some foam and stuff. Again, we use stuff we use for shipping things that we sell online. So that's just in the front here, and in the back, again, we have more stuff stored. So nothing terribly exciting. We have some extra seat covers that are really nice, but we haven't figured out a new home for yet. They do not fit the box truck. They were going to go into the box truck, but they don't fit. Shower tent, you're all familiar with those. New to me, reciprocating saw I picked up. My Ryobi, I burned up the cordless Ryobi. I burned up the motor in it, so I found this one at a yard sale for next to nothing. So it's a older Makita corded one, but it works. Got this power miter saw that we picked up again at the yard sale for very, very cheap. So that's been handy on some of the work I've been doing, but I don't need it all the time. So it's riding over here out of the way for now. Some extra roof vent covers that probably will get used between the trailer and the van truck. If they don't, we'll find a new home for them, but they're just stored for now. And this one all boxed up here is a new diesel heater that I picked up for, again, almost nothing at a yard sale. A guy had bought it for to use in a shop, never got around installing it, and so they were moving and they sold it off very cheap. So we have that. That'll either that one or the one that's in here will go into the box truck, I guess. If we keep the trailer, one of them will go to the trailer too. So there's our other one that we've had for a year or so now. And so like I said, I'm not sure exactly how that'll work out, but we probably will be using a diesel heater in the truck. And if we keep the trailer, we'll definitely install the diesel heater in there as well, because it's just very efficient and cost effective. Well, it's been a full and productive day. I didn't get too much filmed on the projects I was working on. I was basically working out here by myself today. Melanie's been inside working on some eBay listings last weekend or something. We had we had a video about our eBay stuff. We were over in South Dakota. We had 3 days in a row we were sourcing, have a ton of stuff. So she's trying to get some of that listed so we can be all cleared to get out of town for next week to go camping somewhere. So I kind of worked by myself, and a lot of the stuff I was doing was a little bit tedious, so didn't get much footage of it, I guess. But we did make some progress, so I'll show you around at what we've got done thus far. Our air conditioner is wired in. We had an extension cord running it before, so it's not plugged in, but that's the cord right there. It's plugged into that receptacle that I installed under the bed, and that cord is secured along the floor here and goes through the wall into the back. Now I may eventually put some conduit or do something a little fancier with this, but for now it's there and it works. And as we come around into the back here, I have a new, well, I have the cover off here. I got to put that back on, I guess, but installed a new receptacle here. So the way we kind of get this set up is designed to be super flexible. So we have this cord here, can either plug into the Blue Eddy here and provide it. And what this does is it powers, if I plug it in like that, that's power in this receptacle. And everything's wired and tested and it's all working fine. And then we have a couple of things that can get plugged into that receptacle right now. So one of these is, actually this one here is the air conditioner. That's the wire to the air conditioner. This one goes to my desk, although I do have a separate power station for my desk now, so I may not even need to use that, but they can just plug into this receptacle. Similar system to what I had set up on the van. So it's really versatile and simple. This is like the main power center for the AC going to a few different places in the building or in the trailer. And then this cord here, if we have shore power, which I need to install a shore power box over here, but I haven't got that far yet. So if we have shore power, I can either plug this into the shore power and, you know, everything is just running off of that, or I can plug the Blue Eddy in, this cord right here. I can plug the Blue Eddy into shore power and then still run everything off the power station as like a pass-through. And then we have like basically a power backup in case we have a power failure or anything. So either way, we can make that work very simply. Still got lights up here. I have not got past it. I bought some more wire, but I haven't made it past here yet. I'm planning on putting 2 more in up over the kitchen area. And I have receptacles and boxes to put some power in the kitchen. I just have to decide exactly where I'm putting them, but they're going to be kind of over the counter a little bit, something like so. Maybe down here, I'm not sure. We're going to have, but I'll do 2 of them anyway. So we'll have 2 options for power in the kitchen area as well. And once I do that, I have to run a line for that, of course, up and over, and like before, and that also will plug in here. So as far as this box, I mean, we're looking at like 15 amp power. We're not looking at, you know, crazy stuff. If we, so when I get the shore power thing installed, I may do a 30 amp service in that, which is standard for RVs, and that 30 or 50, but 30 is what our trailer has, for example. And then I can run the air conditioning and other bigger stuff at the same time. But so I'm not worried about it too much right now. I think that's plenty adequate for our needs. Well, it's actually the same system we've been running in the van, so I know it works fine. Our power needs aren't that great. We have to run like a laptop and a Starlink and stuff, but most of what we run is actually USB powered, so we're not pulling a ton of electricity. So I think this is going to be just fine for what we need. It can always be expanded. This is a, you know, piggybacking off the power station to make everything else we need. So it's no big deal to expand on that a little bit in the future if we want to or find that it's necessary. Anyway, the truck's coming along. I'm recording this, I think around the 23rd of July on a Wednesday. Next week, probably like on Monday, we're taking off and going camping. So whatever I can get done this week is just improvements we have to go camping with. It worked fine for us before, except for we were having electrical problems. Those are totally resolved, and then some, more than resolved, and we've done a lot of work since then. So I think we're going to be in good shape. Because we still have the trailer, we're not in a race to get this thing move-in ready, but we're closing in on that pretty quick. And so that'll be exciting too. So if you find this video interesting, here's a link to a whole playlist of videos from our box truck camper build project.